Okay, so there's 3 questions I get asked pretty much every time I take this car out. 1 being, how did you make that? 2, why? Number 3, is it legal to have lights like that on your car? No, not at all. When we were building this thing, my dad was a little worried about it, and we just for a brief second thought about putting green lights on top. Come on. You gotta go blue with this car, right? The first couple of times we took it out, we didn't have any issues with it. For the most part, I think people are just so shocked that they're seeing this car driving around that they don't really think about the legality of the lights on top. I'm gonna take back a little bit of what I said before. I don't necessarily know if it's illegal to have them on your car. I know it's illegal to have them running when you're on the road. My defense, if I've always been pulled over for like 20 years, I've told myself, if the cop asks, just tell him they don't work. What's he gonna do? I've never really run into that issue though. Usually if you're responsible about it, no one's really gonna mess with you. I think most people are just really happy to see it and impressed with it. So as long as you're not causing trouble with it, I don't think anyone's really gonna bother you. At least that's the experience I've had, and I've driven this thing all over the place. Now that doesn't mean every time I see a cop I don't get nervous, because I do. When you're doing something you know is illegal, even as innocent as this is, I still get a little anxious every time a police officer pulls up next to us. The last time I took it out, I was getting gas. Someone said, "Excuse me, sir," and I turned around and it was a police cruiser with 2 cops sitting in it. I was like, "Oh, hi, what can I do for you?" And they looked, I mean, they've got the serious looks up until the point where the guy says, "Can we get a picture?" I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely," you know? So when we filmed the movie, we did break a few laws. I can say that now because I think the statute of limitations is probably up on that. When we filmed all the daytime scenes riding around town with the lights on, we did that on Thanksgiving, because I thought obviously it's a holiday and there might not be anybody downtown. I was probably wrong on that, because if you watch the movie, there's a ton of traffic and a lot of people are out, but we got away with it. We had people set up all around with walkie-talkies, and they would say, "Police officer," and we would just not film. As soon as the coast was clear, somebody would say, "Okay, go," and then we'd hit the lights, film the shot, and then possibly have to do it 3 or 4 more times. The shot at night where we pull away from the fire station, we were filming at the firehouse on and off all day for 1 whole day, and there's a Wendy's right across the street, and I had the car parked in the parking lot at Wendy's, and we were inside eating dinner, planning out what we were going to shoot. A police officer walked in and he said, "Is that your car out there?" And we were wearing our suits. It was really cool. He sat down with us and talked for a while. We told him what we were doing and what we wanted to do. Thought this whole thing was totally awesome. And he was off duty, and he gave us a tip from when we should shoot that scene. So that's how we got that shot. All right, so there was this one time, and it's a funny story that I tell people when they ask me about, you know, when I was in college, I went to the University of Georgia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with college football or any of that stuff, but it's really big in Athens, Georgia. They have like 90,000 people show up when there's a home game, and downtown Athens is just flooded with people. People who aren't even going to the games are just, it's like a zombie movie. So there was a big game, I think it was like South Carolina or something. We took the car out because I thought it'd be funny. We were like in the middle of downtown Athens, right in front of the Arch, if you guys are familiar with UGA. There's a green light, but there's about 1,000 people in front of us, and we can't move because they're in the street. They're taking pictures, they're screaming, they're dancing because the music's playing. We can't go. I'm just like sitting with my foot on the brake, and my friend TJ, who you would know from our Ghostbusters movie if you've seen it,
there's a person in there,
is riding shotgun. These people just say, "Turn on the lights!" We're not going anywhere. There's no one in front of us. The traffic's just like stuck. No one would drive around downtown at that specific time because it's like being in the middle of a parade. So we're like, yeah, okay, let's indulge these people. So I just flipped the lights. I swear, instantly, a bike cop pulled up, and we had our windows down at this point. It's just like, it's this young guy, maybe 25, buzz cut, mean look on his face, you know? And he's like, "Sir, can I have your driver's license and insurance card, please?" Just like he pulled over a Toyota or something. TJ's trying to keep a straight face, and the lights are still on. He's like, "Do you know why I'm asking for your identification?" I said, "I probably think of a couple of reasons. He says, you have unauthorized police equipment on this vehicle. It is illegal for you to run those lights on this car like this. And I said, yes, sir. You know, I really kind of wanted to get a ticket for it because I thought it would be, obviously it's a good story. So he wasn't having any of it, didn't even acknowledge. He said, I'll be right back. I'm going to check your license plate, which you know what our license plate is. So like he walks away and then me and TJ just like burst out laughing for a minute, and we see him coming back and it's just like dead face again. He literally tells us, take this car home, put it in the garage. If I ever see it on the road again, I will have you arrested. Have a good day. And he just like cycles off on his bike. What do you do? We took it home and it was probably a month before we took it back out again. That's my one problem I've ever had with a police officer, and it was my fault. Maybe that guy was just having a bad day. It's probably not fun to be a bike cop in the middle of a Georgia game. If you're out there, if that was you, I forgive you. I hope this answers your question. It is very illegal, but if you're responsible, you can have fun with police lights on your car. I think in the actual movie, it was part of the joke that they had police lights on their car and they just drove around and did whatever they wanted. It kind of fits with the, you know, anti-establishment, like Harold Ramis theme that you see in a lot of his movies. You know, there's a little bit of that in all of us, I think. As always, I really appreciate that you guys are watching these videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have any other questions or if you have ideas for something I could do video-wise with this car, let me know. I'm down. I really appreciate everything. All the comments, all the positivity. This is just, I don't know, something I've never experienced before. Have a good weekend. It's Saturday. I'm gonna take this car out. See ya.